Hello and welcome all into the MO podcast. As always, you're here with me, Contumacious Ann.
And me, Atreya.
And today we are just going to have a look back through our 49 episodes, to be honest. This is the 50th episode. So
yeah.
we made it. We've been doing this for a year now.
And 3 days.
Yeah. So,
a year and 3 days. But who's counting?
No. 6 hours, 43 minutes. But yeah, so we just... Personally, I didn't think we'd get this far.
Wow, thanks, Ant. Appreciate that. And I love you dearly as well.
Well, you know... I don't. This is the thing. Like, I didn't know what to expect with this and what the expectation. There weren't really any expectations going into it. It was just.
Do you want a shovel to dig that hole a bit deeper? I had no expectations when I asked you to do this. Wow. Got feelings, you know.
Yeah, I know. So it's not a great promo for the channel. I'll be quite honest with you. Yeah, I didn't have any expectations. Just most of the time can't be asked.
Well, yeah, that one is true.
Yeah, sometimes I barely show up.
It's not sometimes, Ant. It's mostly.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. If it weren't for the guest speakers this series, I don't think. I don't think I'd be here at all.
Wow. Jeez.
No, I'm joking. But seriously, what I meant by that was because obviously, like with Twitter, we were on kind of the Twitter podcast kind of circulation, and you see some questions on there, and it's like some of them the other day was something about monetizing it and do people do this for monetary gain or is it kind of like, do you think they can retire and do this full time? And it's like, no, not at all. This is just fucking like, I'm sorry, but don't want to do down any other content creators, and I know it's, if you crack it, it's great, but it's just a lot of work to crack. And
think of things to talk about, like you'd have to do it regular, like twice, like 2 or 3 times a week or something. You'd have to have like a topical podcast, wouldn't you?
That's it. I think it's a little bit too niche to be able to do it. I mean, there are people out there who kind of do it, and they do it reasonably well, and they probably do make a reasonably good living off it. But we both work like 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
So outside of that, I mean, we don't have social lives. So, but
you have to speak for yourself. I found one recently. God. Thank you.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, here we go.
It's only one person, to be fair. So it's not like I haven't turned into a social butterfly, but you know, it's progress for me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely. You're showing me up.
Exactly. It's not just like I didn't leave the house during lockdown for 2 years because, you know, I was locked in. I literally haven't left the house for like 10 years. So this is an achievement for me.
Yeah. I mean, the pandemic didn't affect you in any way, shape or form, did it?
It literally didn't change my life in the slightest bit. Other than that, you know, when I ran out of wine.
Oh, God, yeah. Jesus.
Couldn't just walk along to the shop for it, you know.
No.
Wasn't allowed in. Shop was shut.
Exactly, but... Yeah, bargain booze don't do deliveries, do they?
They don't, no. They really don't. So... Nowhere around here does. Shocking.
Wow.
We haven't even got Uber Eats. Couldn't even get an Uber Eats man to deliver me a bottle of wine. I would have paid 25 quid for it as well. For one bottle of wine. I would, even if it was like a straw hat, like a one that's like $1.99 in B&M, I would have paid 25 quid for it at the time. I was gasping, man.
Oh my God, the garage down the road from me has Uber Eats. What's going on in your neck of the woods? I know. I don't really get how that
delivering?
Works. Yeah.
Jerry cans.
I'll have a Daily Express and 3 gallons of 4-star, please. Yeah, I don't get how that works. But
I love how you're more civilized than I am. Jeez.
I know, and that's saying something from where I'm from. Jesus.
Exactly.
But yeah. Anyway, it wasn't. It was. This was just to talk about a kind of just something that we've got in common, and it was just kind of just to chat about it every week between ourselves, really.
When we discovered that we both know the best way to get away with murder, how to spot a serial killer from a mile away, all the psychopathic tendencies, and we were like, hey, we should be friends.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, yeah, just draw people together, that kind of stuff. But
Like Drew Burke and Hare together.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. Let's not model our career on them two, though.
Hey, they made some good money.
Well, they did, but they were also hung. So,
one of them was.
One of them was, yeah. Oh, that'll be me, won't it? Oh, here we go. Oh, this was all planned, weren't it? Oh, I didn't even see it coming.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but I feel like I would just look better in a top hat, so I'll be there.
Yeah, okay.
No offense.
No, it's absolutely fine. But yeah, and to me as well, like, okay, in the beginning, like, I was going to listen back to some of the earlier episodes, but I think it was 2 minutes 36 seconds I got into the Holmes episode and turned it off because it's not bad, it's not terrible.
It is, and it's terrible.
Look, I want people to go back and listen to it, like,
I mean, they can, but...
Well, yeah, no, actually, it's not our greatest work.
They might not listen to the rest.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, don't start off with that one. Don't start off with that one. But, yeah, and it's very detailed and very in-depth.
And very...
Yeah, I mean, that is the best way to describe it. Very, that big long silence there, because it is just so staid and so formal and just, yes.
Yeah. To be fair, though, we didn't really know each other a great deal back then, so...
That's it. We were just trying to work out what the best way to do things were. I mean, with all sides of it, the sound on it is horrendous. I mean... I'm embarrassed at the like last week's one. Never mind the one that was 12 months ago. But
yeah, we weren't really kitted out, were we?
No, we didn't really know. I mean, them first couple of episodes were a bit hit and miss. I mean, I think for me, it was kind of like the Ed Gein one, where we kind of started to, it was a bit more relaxed. We started to find our footing with it, and it was, let's just, although they are serious subjects, but let's not be them guys that go take it all that seriously, to be honest with you. Most of the stuff we talk about happened a long time ago, and people have moved on, I would hope, but we don't make light of what happened in it. I don't think anyway. I think we just have a laugh with the things and how we interpret it. It's not like, oh, Ed Gein, he killed people and dug people up. That's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of is, but it's not what...
It's just our British sarcastic way, really, isn't it?
Exactly. That's it. And I mean, it was definitely his skirting boards where we both just kind of went, yeah.
The worst thing about this entire situation, the clip of them skirting boards, man.
Exactly.
He should be disgraced.
He should.
And Aggie wouldn't go in there.
Oh, I mean, maybe he was a little bit on the spectrum, but still, run a fucking chamois leather over it, mate.
This is the thing as well, like, so I know, like, a lot of people, or like documentaries and stuff, they'll talk about like, oh, like Ed Gein did this and he was a horrific, evil serial killer and stuff like this. But we kind of like see it from like all sides. So we're kind of like, because we like to see it from the criminal mind and like their psychopathy and things like that, and we're just like, you know, oh, okay, so Ed kind of had a bit of a rough ride of it, to be honest. Like that doesn't excuse what he did in any way, shape, or form, but it kind of explains an awful lot about why he did what he did. Do you know what I mean? And in a like roundabout way, it's a little bit of a sad story for him as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's kind of a victim in it as well, you know. I mean, there's always two sides to the story, and in that particular case, like we've talked about, he's kind of a victim in it because of his upbringing and because nobody kind of intervened in what was happening, and he didn't know any better. He wasn't educated to know any better, and he wasn't brought up to know any better. He just thought what he was doing was normal, and he was a lonely person. And
yeah, it's kind of sad. Like I don't think he really had a great case of the smarts by any means, and he just kind of seemed like this just little lonely old man, you know?
Yeah.
He didn't like really understand the bigger picture of the world, and just thought, you know what, I need some friends. Hey, I'll go grab some dead people from the cemetery and they can be my friends.
Yeah, because that's what he thought friendship was. He thought it was people being around. It wasn't like bonding or anything like that, because he didn't have friends to know what friendship was. He wasn't allowed friends, was he, really?
Oh no, his mum was like, fun, partying, girls, boobs over my dead body.
Exactly. So
she was a bit of a psycho, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's is it nature or nurture, or is it both in this case? It's
what chance did he have, really?
Yeah, he was on a hide into nothing, really.
Yeah, definitely.
But back in them days, like when we were doing it, obviously it is kind of different to now, because there was the lockdown was on, so we couldn't go anywhere. I know I was on furlough, so I had nothing to do. So basically, I was diving into these stories and doing a lot of research on them and looking into every little detail that I could. And now I just copy and paste.
Just wing it.
Yeah, that's it. Just turn up. That's the best you get out of me, and just hope for the best.
The thing is, though, like, that's kind of what like our kind of way now. But also, I mean, if you wanna have some information on somebody, like, just Wikipedia is just like there. Everything is in a snapshot. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to sit and listen to a full length podcast. So I feel like ours is still different because it's like the crack and the banter in between the facts. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to bombard people with facts that they can literally get in a snapshot just by typing it into Google. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all the extra crack.
Yeah, exactly.
That comes with it.
That's it. It's the story that we kind of present with it as well. And don't get me wrong, I do more than Wikipedia. I do a bit of research on it and then fill in the blanks. Yeah, believe it or not,
Okay.
I have at least 3 tabs open.
Yeah, but one's Pornhub and one's X-Hamster, so the other one's Wikipedia.
Look, right, let's not go into... Look, my Google search history is none of anyone's business if you're listening, MI5, right?
I was going to say, the FBI have got a car parked on your drive right now.
Especially after erect whale's penis or whatever the fuck. Loch Ness Monster / erect whale.
There's whales putting in calls to the RSPCA saying that they're nervous about being around you.
I can't go swim with the dolphins. Blacklisted from that. Oh God. No, declined. We've been told by authorities that you got to be tagged. We've got to stay 500 feet away from the whales and the dolphins. Not even on a cruise ship are you going. But and as well, the what on Twitter was another one of these things that I saw was which is your most viewed kind of which is your most viewed podcast episode? And for us, it's the Herb Baumeister, which we did a ton of research on that.
Oh God, I was obsessed with this one.
And it is a really interesting case, and it is good. But it's one of our earlier episodes, and although it's our most viewed one, I don't think it's our best bit of work. I mean, it is for the amount of research that we put into it and what came out of it. I think that we kind of solved it, really, didn't we? Because he's the I-70 murderer. So.
He's not, though.
Oh shit! Is that where we got to on that one?
Yes.
Okay,
so for anybody who hasn't listened to the Herb Baumeister episode, so everybody thought that Herb Baumeister was the I-70, potentially the I-70 strangler. Herb Baumeister was a serial killer, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I kind of did loads of research and I looked into it for ages. And I actually don't think he was a killer at all. I think he was just a weird guy. Potentially a great person to frame as a serial killer, but we'll never know because he killed himself. But I actually don't think it was Herb at all, and I think the guy who did it is still very much alive.
There we go. It all came screaming back to me there. Yeah. So you thought he had an accomplice, didn't you? You.
Well, I don't even necessarily think it was an accomplice. I think he just was framed. Like, he was just like the odd guy. Like,
the
he
puppet.
just, oh yeah, Herb is definitely gonna take the rap for this. Like, I didn't even think he was any the wiser, really. Like, he just kind of, by then it was too late, and the evidence was overwhelming because, you know, it all kind of happened at his house, but lots of people spent time at his house that weren't him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
they rented out the barns, didn't they? They had
yeah.
apartments on site as well for other people there, and yeah, he was in financial trouble as well. So when you're in that kind of situation, yeah, you just let anyone stay, don't you, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
they had the run of maybe not the house, but the amenities, because there was a pool house where these things happened. And yeah, it was a little bit suspicious, wasn't it, in the ending to that one?
100%.
But yeah, that is an interesting case. But I think, like I said, for me, it may be our biggest, not have the most views, most hits, whatever. But I don't think it's the best. Personally, for me, I think the Second Pacific Fleet is my personal favourite, just because that was just terrible from start to finish, the actual story of it. And I was, even though it doesn't really fit in with kind of serial killers, folklore, paranormal, I just felt that I had to talk about it because it was just a cacophony of mistakes from start to finish. And
Definitely.
yeah, it was and that just came across like literally a couple of days before we were going to record that I found out about that, and I had another thing planned for it, and it stood out to me so much that I really wanted to do that, and that only has like 12 views. So like, yeah, you know what? Doesn't have to be the greatest viewed. I know in my heart of hearts that is one of my better pieces of work.
Yeah.
Says more about my standard of work than it does about anything else there, I think. I mean, have you got an episode that you're particularly, I don't want to use the word proud, but happy with?
Yeah, I've got two. So I like the Iceman and Mary Ann Cotton, just because I just had so much fun like learning about Mary Ann Cotton, because how the hell she wasn't found out sooner, I just will never know.
Yeah.
It was just so painfully obvious. But I also like the Polybius and the New Coke episode as well.
Yeah.
Because Polybius is my favouriteest conspiracy ever.
Yeah, that is interesting, and I'd never heard about Polybius before you kind of brought that up, even in passing. Obviously, we watch a lot of, I watch a lot, and I research a lot of other things. So, like, we watch Lazy Masquerade and Mr. Ballin and Unsolved and other people like that, but they've never actually covered it before, so it wasn't really in my sphere of influence. And I'm not a tinfoil hat person anyway, so I wouldn't go and look at it. But the more, it's quite a compelling case of how, especially with like MK Ultra, the background of it and the dodgy stuff that the American government did try and push out. And like, it was the 80s was the wild, wild west. It was, you could get away with anything. Reagan was in power. He was a TV actor. It's like...
Let's face it, Ant. It was probably the one and only episode I've actually convinced you.
To be honest,
you, the skeptic, it's the only one I've ever where you've gone, actually, yeah, he might be onto something.
Do you know what? Yeah, I have to agree with that because I can't. I'm just looking through them now and going.
You don't get on board with anything.
Yeah, apart from the ones like that are crime and, you know, again, yeah, we all know he did that.
Yeah.
But that's the only. Yeah, Polybius is the only one where I went, maybe.
But I still think I had a really compelling case for the Titanic didn't sink. It didn't sink.
I mean, okay, that's absolutely fine.
It didn't sink. It didn't sink any more than some fish decided, what if I don't want to walk?
But see, right, so if something sank, right?
Yeah, it was the Olympic.
Okay. But
it was already knackered. They switched the ships and sank it so they could claim off the insurance money.
But didn't...
And then Titanic sailed as the Olympic, till it was, old and then taken out of action.
But didn't the Olympic serve as a hospital boat in World War II, or was that the Britannic?
That was the Britannic.
Okay.
Actually, do you know what? Because there was a nurse, wasn't there?
Yes.
There was a nurse that was on the Titanic, the Britannia, and the Olympic.
Yeah, she worked her way through all them ships.
They all sank. I think it was her, if I'm honest.
Well, probably, to be quite, yeah. And yeah, she was apparently in her interview, she was too attractive to work as a ship's maid. So her and her mum set up an interview outfit which they called a man-scaring outfit.
Was it a pantsuit? It was a pantsuit.
Probably was, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, she worked on all three. She did the rounds on them.
She did.
Maybe.
Unlucky much.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Or maybe it was just her, to be quite honest.
I did read something on the internet earlier on in the week that the replica Titanic that they're building, where they're going to actually, like, it's all kitted out identical to the original, and they're going to like sail it and charge people God knows how many hundreds of pounds or thousands of pounds for a ticket to sail from like Southampton to New York and do its original route. And so somebody had put they were like, oh, it should be ready to sail like in 2022 or something. And somebody put on Twitter, at least we know that it won't hit any icebergs this time because we've melted them all. So I was like, yeah, I really wanted to put, but it never hit an iceberg anyway. So that's not what sank it.
Yeah, didn't sink. It was yeah.
It didn't sink. Yeah.
Yeah. And now you said that it did sink, but. I've just actually looked and seen what episode that was in, and it's the flat Earth one as well. So Lee said,
yeah, but I wasn't on board with that one.
Makes.
I'm a tinfoil hatter, but you didn't convince me that the Earth is flat.
because I wasn't trying to convince anyone. I don't think I go into this, right? Don't think I go into this and get swayed halfway through. Like, I'm looking at David Icke's work and go, you know what? This man's got a point. So I go into it going, no, you're mental anyway, all of you.
That man is a nutter.
I know.
I'm embarrassed he's one of my people.
I know. He was at the... What was he at? He was at the anti-vax rally in London.
Was, yeah.
And it's like, I know, but the thing is, he was on stage and he was sharing a stage with all these people, and it's like, right, so everyone on that stage is on board with what David Icke says about lizard people. So everyone on that stage thinks the Queen is a lizard person. Because you can't get on that stage and go, I agree with his anti-vaccine stuff, but his lizard people, well, that's just crazy. You have to be on board with everything he says. If you're hitching your wagon to that, you've got to go, it's all or nothing. It's like religion. You can't just cherry pick little bits of the Bible and go, yeah, I think Jesus turned water into wine, but he never rose after 3 days. It's like, no. If you're reading that book,
it's all or nothing.
It is. And if you're on stage with David Icke, you've got to say, yeah, lizard people, get Queen's lizard, get her. You can't just go, he's a bit mental, isn't he, with that? But no, anti-vaccine, yeah, it's 5G and Bill Gates. It's like, no.
I do still get a bit nervous whenever my phone switches from 4G to 5G, I'm not going to lie. Do you know, I got this conspiracy book, right? Of course I did. And I was reading...
Kelsa, please.
And I was reading about the lizard people and David Icke, right? And did you know, right, he reckons that, so obviously they're actually lizard people, but they can turn back into human form, but only after performing sexual acts on children. And I was like, that is really specific. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a weird thing to say, right?
It is. He may as well have just set a time with it. Like, they have to perform sexual acts at 2:35 a.m. on a Thursday, or else they just stuck like that.
But particularly on blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids as well.
Oh my!
And I was
Aryans.
like, this is really specific, David. Like, what is going through your head right now? Like, why would these reptile people, if they actually were reptile people and they needed to turn back into humans, like, surely they could be like, oh, you know, we're Satanists. We're not even extraterrestrials. We're Satanists, because this is the thing, right? It's like 50-50. Some people think they're Satanists, and you know they're weird reptile people, and other people are like, oh, they're aliens. So we're Satanists, and what does the devil like best? Mostly just human sacrifice. Just that starts and bloody ends there. Like, you don't have to go into specifics, but he was so specific. I was just a little bit like, I feel like that's a lie, David. I feel like you're making that up.
Yeah, and as well, haven't these lizard people been around since the dawning of time?
Yeah,
apparently. So what about evolution then? Surely, like, at some point, they must have like looked at each other, or their brain or DNA must have been, this is a bit of a bastard getting a blonde-haired, blue-eyed child. So why don't we
Every time I want to look like a human.
Yeah, why don't we just make it any children? And then over the course of evolution, maybe it was just like, have a cup of tea at the end of it kind of thing, and then they turn back.
But do you not think, though, logically, through evolution, they would have gone, you know what would make it so much easier to fit in? If we just look like this all the time. That would be handy, wouldn't it? And then they just evolved to look like regular human beings.
Yeah, so what's the point in looking like a lizard? What are they getting from... Surely,
exactly.
If you're a lizard person, you know your other lizard people. Like, you're a tinfoil hat person, you know your other tinfoil hat people.
Oh, yeah.
So, surely, if you're a lizard person, you know who they are, and plus the fact they all run the world. There's 14 of them, isn't there? Kings and queens. So it's like you're just walking down the street and they're unrecognisable if they're not in their lizard form. It's like, it's queen, isn't it?
It's dumb, right? It's a dumb. I feel like somebody needs to just have a word with David. I mean, to be honest, probably a lot of people have had a word with him and gone, go home.
I think the horse has bolted on that one, to be honest
really
with you. I mean...
It didn't make no sense to me, really, at all.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough, believe what you want to believe, but when you espousing
it's the
it...
specifics.
Yeah. And
where's he even got that from?
Has he...
Have any of the lizard people ever fessed up that this is the key to turning into people? Because I seriously doubt it.
This is the thing as well. He would have had to witness it or had this information passed to him secondhand rather than just go, let me have a think.
I bet this is what they do.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing they could do? That's definitely what they do.
Exactly. What offends my Christian upbringing? Blonde hair, blue eye, child, paedophile. Yeah, that's it.
The guy's a nutter. It's not normal to think that way.
No.
And I'm not normal thinking.
Well, exactly. Then
that's coming from me.
When Atreya's saying that, you know you're in trouble. Gee whiz. Yeah, so what else have we got? I mean, the cases that we've covered and they've kind of moved on. Fuck you, Netflix, is all I've got to say. So Elisa Lam, in particular, we
solved it.
We
did
solved
solve it
that
Netflix.
like so much before anyone else did, and
yeah, we did.
I'm taking that to
totally did,
the end of time. But
Me too.
there was new information that came out in a certain documentary that we've slagged off quite a lot. That the actual lid was open on the water tank.
Yeah, that would have made everything so much easier the first time round.
So yeah, if we would have known that information, then we probably wouldn't have spent. I mean, and the Elisa Lam one as well was a lot of research was involved in that. I remember reading or Googling how a body would look after being submerged in water for 2 weeks and decomposition on it, and learned.
That's why the FBI are parked outside.
Yeah,
your
exactly.
House right now.
I learned quite a few new and interesting facts, and
mate, I was Googling like the pressure needed to open like I was doing maths and everything, working out like the weight of a one of them lids on the water tanks and like the strength you would have to be and your body weight and stuff to open the lid and stuff. I fucking wasted my time.
Yeah. We did go. That was one of the episodes that we did go. Well, personally, we both went all out on with it. We were we were chatting over DMs about certain things that kept popping up, and we were like, "Whoa, what's this now? A new thing?"
Oh my god!
Yeah, but if we would have known that one fact, we would have just gone, "Yeah, she'd been off her meds and got in the water
100%.
tank." Yeah, but yeah, and as well, the Long Island serial killer. That's something that you're kind of adamant has moved on, or not moved on, actually. Yeah, it's still going on, but it's got an even bigger backstory than we kind of covered on it with the whole Son of Sam and another documentary that from a place that shall remain nameless, but they keep on fucking beating us to the punch, don't they? No credits.
No,
either.
it's definitely all the same kind of stuff. Sons of Sam, Long Island serial killer. It's all part of the same group. It's all part of the same dark web kind of dealings, snuff movies, that kind of thing. David Berkowitz definitely was not a lone gunman. 100% can guarantee. Yes, he's a bullshitter, but no, he was not alone. There's something more to it. There's people still going missing in Long Island, in and around the same area. Still bodies, washing up. It's still there, but there's people in really, really high places of power that are hushing it all up. Judges, lawyers, cops.
This is it.
And if I get killed, then you know that I was right.
Yeah. This is it as well. It's a whole conspiracy with it, and it's I'm not 100% off board with it, but I'm not 100% on board with it. Maybe there's something going on, but if it's linked to devil worshipping and whatnot, I don't know.
No, the devil worshipping's a front. It's just a front to like recruit members, like because people are all drawn in by like satanic cults and things like that. You know, like impressionable youngsters and stuff are drawn in by that. So that's just a front to get members,
so they can
to basically do their dirty work. Yeah.
Yeah, and then film it and then sell it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, the world now takes so much to shock that, you know, drugs and porn are a thing of the past. You know, like. The world needs to... I mean, have you ever seen American Horror Story? Dear God. Like, I've watched 2 episodes of every season and I can't do it. I just cannot do it. I can't watch anymore. I'm just like, who thinks this up and why are they not in jail? You know, this is messed up, but people love it. And the shock value is just, that's what makes money these days. So it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest that there's this dark web of snuff movies being sold, you know, for a lot of money behind the scenes.
Yeah, and as well, like the dark web is it's the underbelly of the iceberg, isn't it? Like Google and Bing are just at the very tip. Underneath it is the dark web, and there's a heck of a lot of stuff on there, allegedly.
Yeah. Yes, my conspiracy books tell me that there is. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going on that. Jesus Christ! I was very tempted to dip my toe in, but no,
You might see some things that you could never unsee. You know.
It
might traumatize you for life.
I wouldn't be that bothered about it. I wouldn't be that bothered about seeing stuff. It's just like people having my IP address and me, like, you need to be properly VPN'd up and backed up and all that kind of, and I'm not very...
Or a member of Anonymous.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not very computer literate. I mean, I barely go to the third page of Google with the searches. So I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. I might try it on my mum's computer when I go around.
Wow.
But yeah, it's
interesting things we learned.
Yeah,
over the course of a year. Frank Sinatra's a bell end.
100%. Just how much control he had over the Hollywood establishment, and he was installed in there by the mafia. So then, how much control did they have?
But he was just a jerk. He was horrible to...
He wasn't a nice guy.
Garland. Yeah. He was horrible to Natalie Wood. He was horrible to Marilyn Monroe. He was just a nasty man.
Any kind of weird Hollywood shenanigans or conspiracies, somewhere, somehow, Frank Sinatra is in the background of it.
Yeah.
And he was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't treat people very well.
No. I was going to say, and we learned that ghosts don't exist.
True.
Because of the fear frequency.
Oh, okay. I just thought...
You were just like, yeah, true, yeah, and what of it?
Yeah, what's your point? What's your point there?
Well, no, okay, so I still do believe that ghosts exist, but also, I think a lot of the sightings and stuff could potentially be put down to the fear frequency.
Yeah, that's it as well. I mean, between the fear frequency, which is an amazing episode, because it's something I knew nothing about. And thank you to Davey Mustardface for jumping in on it and explaining it all about us. But you can't hear it, so you don't know about it. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing with it. It's just something that's occurring, but you're clueless about it. So you think that it may be a ghost, something may be happening.
Yeah.
A little bit like mental health issues and shadow people kind of thing. If you don't know, if you're not diagnosed with it, you don't know what's going on, so you may believe you've seen an entity, a ghost, something, but it could be a visual hallucination because you've got undiagnosed bipolar disease or bipolar issues
Or myocarditis,
well, indeed that as well. You could have.
like Christopher Case.
Oh God, yeah, that as well. Oof. That was.
That was a proper interesting one, wasn't
That
it?
was
I
that
liked
was
one.
yeah. To be honest with you, I think that's definitely in my top three.
Yeah.
Of that, because it's just baffling.
Yeah.
For a start, the niche of his favourite musical genre. Like
Ancient Egyptian classical music.
yeah, and that's the most sanest thing about that whole case. It just gets worse after that. Yeah, witch. It was a witch.
A witch that he knocked back, and she put a curse on him, telling him that he would be dead soon. And he started seeing things and hearing things, and went to a priest, not a GP. And
As you do.
Yeah, died
Yeah, I mean,
very quickly.
some witches need to learn that no means no.
Yeah. She just wasn't his type. They were just, he just liked ancient Egyptian music, and she was the only person who could get the rare imports.
Who he'd ever met that had that same. Jesus, I don't think there's many people.
No, but I also don't know, like, was it like for his personal collection, or was he like planning on,
No, it was
integrating it into music?
No, it was his personal collection.
Oh.
Like that was his thing. He that's how he relaxed.
He could have gone to HMV, couldn't he? They get imports in.
Yeah, I suppose, but
Then he would have gotten out of a bad date.
true. And out of buying all them crucifixes, to be quite honest.
And Bibles, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Went a bit nuts in that bookshop, didn't he?
God, it must have been a long road. They seen him coming. Gee whiz.
I know, and I don't get it as well, because like if you go into Waterstones now, like they've probably got religious books somewhere, but like how many copies of the Bible do you need? It's the same book. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. I mean, I know that they're not therapists or anything, but if someone comes to the kin counter with 20 Bibles, you just look at them and go, "You all right?
You okay?
She need to talk to someone. Is he carer about?
Are you well?"
You know what I mean? You just go, that's odd.
That's a lot of Bibles there, bro.
Yeah.
What's the crack? Are you doing like the whole, where you buy the adult version of the Harry Potter book and the kids version of the Harry Potter book just so that you can compare the texts? you doing that with all these Bibles? Wow, man. Don't judge.
Yeah.
It might have been different. It wasn't, but it might have been. You just don't know these things. You gotta check.
True. He may have been starting his own church up and just opened one down the road, and then first sermon he went, "Fuck, I've not got a Bible. Need one for my congregation." Or maybe they did him a deal, like buy 20
Buy 5, get
for
another
the price of
17
15,
free.
yeah, something like that. I hope they did him a deal, or else that's just profiteering.
Oh, definitely, yeah. They definitely seen him coming. Poor guy.
Yeah, and the Atloff Pass as well. That was an interesting one. More so interesting that it was swept under the rug quite quickly, and the same. Maybe not the same thing, but there was an incident in Siberia which kind of mirrors the Dyatlov Pass incident as well. So
And America.
Yeah.
There was one in America, wasn't there?
Yeah. There's some kind of shady shenanigans going on up in the mountains.
Yeah, I mean, you could think like, yeah, okay, it probably does look like the most logical explanation is an avalanche, but why would the authorities not just go, yeah, it was an avalanche? Like,
Yeah.
and just, why was it so hush, hush, no, let's get rid of, nobody's allowed at the funeral, you know, let's bury the bodies and be done with it, and let's just sweep it all under the rug, and evidence, that old stuff. No, we put that in the incinerator. Didn't need it. Didn't need it.
We'd solved it already. Didn't need it.
Yeah, like, why? If it was an avalanche, why are you acting all sus?
Yeah, there's
Brown is sus.
Too many red flags on that one.
Totally.
But yeah, I mean, 49 episodes. This is the 50th episode, and we've just been. This is. See, now you see. At the beginning, like I said, I didn't have any expectations, and we were talking about if you started doing this full time, you wouldn't have. You know, you'd need a new subject every other day, kind of thing. But we've just talked like for nearly an hour about talking about what we talked about previously. So
you're not wrong.
You know what I mean? This is how far we've progressed. If you listen to the Holmes episode, it's a completely different. It's a completely different.
Yeah.
Episode than this is and the previous one, and this although this is just randomness and it's just us chatting, I think this is a lot better in content in content rather than that was. Like you say, you can go on Wikipedia and just go quick Google search and find out all the information that you want, and certainly in that episode, good God, there was information just overload. It was
totally.
It was just oh God in heaven. I didn't even I didn't even get to my bit. I just went no.
I think like maybe as we just like now it's just kind of like maybe we just want to be happy that maybe as we make people chuckle while they're listening on their way into work or something like that. Like it's not serious. It's not like information overload. It's just something to have a bit of a chuckle with when you go to work, you know. That's
it 100%. And I think I've stated this previously, but for me this is just a catch up, a once a week catch up with a like-minded person just to have a chat, and if other people join in, listen to us and they find it amusing, then God bless them. And thank you so much to everyone that has participated and listened and been there. It's like Kat, she's been there from day one. Vertigo Jack, who does all our graphics, and he gave us the disappearance of Dennis Martin idea. There's Davey Mustardface, who's been on the show before.
And does all our music.
Yeah, he does all our intros, and he was doing our editing as well. Novodome, who is pretty much the third. Well, him and Kat are the third people on this show. And they get involved, and they've been with us from day one. And I know there's other people out there, Wilkes and Gods, and you know, Prophet, yeah, exactly. There's also everyone. There's too many people to mention, and I'm not missing you out on purpose. I'm just saying, like, we really do appreciate that you've actually joined us in what is just two idiots talking about murderers and weird shit every week. And a year, we've been doing this a year. And at the minute, although I am slack as F, we're not going to slow down. We've got some stuff coming up, hopefully, maybe not when things get better, because obviously lockdown restrictions have been lifted, but when it's a little bit more of, we've got a little bit of time, maybe we can get out and start doing some videos and stuff. Hopefully we'll have more guest hosts with us, and we may have a massive interview coming up in a few weeks.
With your mum?
Yeah.
Yes!
Maybe. You know what? I used to work with someone who won gold in Japan, right, in Tokyo Olympics, and You want an interview with me mum? Okay, fine, fair enough. There you go. Yeah.
I mean, nah, not a big fan of the. I'm literally wearing a T-shirt that says "Say No to Sports," anti-sports movement. I'm all on board with your mum.
See, this is what I'm working with. This is what I'm working with. So
I love your mum.
So hopefully,
like butter.
Hopefully we'll get the big one. But yeah, no. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Like, we sincerely mean it, and it's been a mad journey.
It's a bit emotional.
Yeah. Well, no, but
it has. If you're me and you've got a really good case and you don't believe it,
well,
it's emotional for me. Okay, I've got a trauma. I got a PTSD that you just don't believe me no matter what I say.
Make your case better, surely.
I can only work with the facts, and
the word facts is doing a lot of heavy lifting in your fucking life, innit? Jesus Christ. Well, look, you know what? I'll give you Polybius. So you 1 out of 49.
You'll be so sorry when me and David Paulides form a duo.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Go on tour.
Yeah,
okay.
You'll be sorry. And you'll be sorry when it's proved that Queen Elizabeth I was a man.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But no, yeah, you've got 1 out of 49. I'll give you that.
Well, it's one more than I have.
Well, exactly. But you kind of need to try harder. I think Nova's got more than you, to be quite honest.
Wow. Okay. I've already got a good one in the back of my mind. So, your mind's gonna be blown.
Well, we all await for that to happen.
I don't need your sass.
And on that bombshell,
Yeah.
this, as always, has been the MO podcast. You've been here with me, Consummation Sam.
And me, Atreya.
And again, thank you so much for joining us for these past 50 episodes. And here's to a heck of a lot more. And we shall see you next time.
The MO
Bye.
podcast. The MO podcast. The MO podcast. The MO podcast.